They call me Trace because it's the third video of the day. Welcome into today's program. Saints Now by Chat Sports. We've got a lot of great content for you to check out from today. Just all sorts of crazy stuff around the black and gold, but none bigger than Clyde Edwards-Elaire. First roster move for Kellen Moore. First roster move in this new generation of the New Orleans Saints. CEH, he is back in the black and gold. So just got to say, welcome back, Clyde. Now, in case you guys didn't know this, or in case you're not familiar with who Clyde Edwards-Elaire is, he actually went to Catholic high school in Baton Rouge, and then went to LSU, and he was a first-round pick by the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2020. And then just over the course of his career and over the course of some time, he had Isaiah Pacheco join the Chiefs running back group and then kind of eventually took over as the lead back, and CEH just started to kind of keep getting pushed off and kind of keep getting, pushed away from the Chiefs. But, he did join last year the New Orleans Saints. He joined the roster whenever there was a lot of injuries, especially late in the season. Remember Alvin Kamara, he missed a lot of time at the end of the season, was unable to get that 1,000-yard mark, but that's when CEH was able to come in and play. And I thought in the very limited amount of reps that we saw, I thought it was pretty solid. Like, it's kind of an unfair evaluation the last two games of the season when you're locked in on a top 10 pick, like you're not really competing for much. I can understand, why the stats may not be absolutely insane, but I can tell you this, Clyde Edwards-Elaire is very excited to be here, and he was very, very excited. He said it was a blessing. It was a dream come true to play for the New Orleans Saints last year, but now he gets to do it on a full season basis. It's a one-year contract, so he's going to be with this team the entire season. If you guys remember Kellen Moore, he is the head coach. He was very successful in the rushing attack. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. But if you're pumped up to have Clyde Edwards-Elaire back in New Orleans and back on the Saints, hit the thumbs up icon and like today's video. I also think it's a good move because, in my opinion, running back was a position in need for the New Orleans Saints. So hit that thumbs up icon if you're pumped to see CEH back in the black and gold. Alrighty, so with CEH, I do think for him, he's a player that last year was not in a good situation. But with a much better head coach and a much better offensive system this year, I think a guy like Clyde Edwards-Elaire can be successful. Last season, only 13 carries. He had no touchdowns, 46 yards, but he did also rack up a handful of yards in the receiving game. So, with Clyde Edwards-Elaire, again, he's not a guy who's going to come in and change the game for you across the board, but he is a player that does offer some usage, and he can take some snaps away from Alvin Kamara, which can give AK the chance to tie his shoes or take a breath or catch a drink of water or something like that. I mean, if you go back to his stats, even with the Kansas City Chiefs in his first 4 seasons, in 2020, his rookie year, things were looking great. The Chiefs, it seemed like they had their guy at the running back position. And then for some reason, the whole world decided running backs weren't important, and then he's now available, and he is no longer a Chief, and now he's a New Orleans Saint. But you see the production in 2020, really, really good stuff there. And then in 2021, started to dip. And then in 2022, another dip. And then in 2023, a little bit less. So, with Clyde Edwards-Elaire, don't act and don't pretend like he's going to fix this offense, and he's going to be the guy who takes over and is the predecessor to Alvin Kamara. I don't think that that's the case. I think, if anything, honestly, he's the predecessor to Jamal Williams. Kendre Miller, I'm still very high on for what it's worth. You just don't know what you have in him because he can't stay healthy. You're not signing CEH to be your starting running back. That would just be silly. I still, in my opinion, think that running back is a position in need. I like this addition for what it's worth. That being said, I still want to add to it. I don't really feel comfortable rolling in with the same exact running back group that we had last year. Now, taking a look at the running back group, I really like Alvin Kamara, but, I think that CEH does have a nice role with this group. And, Jamal Williams, sure, he's a funny player, and, I think he's a great guy and all that. I just don't necessarily think that he has much of a future with the New Orleans Saints. And I love Kendre Miller. I'm a big, big fan of Kendre. That being said, he's never available. He's never healthy. So in my opinion, I think if anything, CEH is actually not a predecessor to Alvin Kamara. He's a predecessor to Jamal Williams, if any, in my opinion. Like, I don't think you should expect CEH to come in and take over for the Saints offense. I think that he's a better support role, and I think he's a good insurance policy, but he's not the guy that's going to change the offense. Like, I wouldn't mind going Ashton Jeanty. I think running back is still a position in need. Like, I think Ashton Jeanty's an all-around running back, and I think that he's an all-around great player. I would love to draft Ashton Jeanty in round 1, and I think that he could be an excellent player that can take over after Alvin Kamara, and he can also be a good complement to Alvin Kamara while they're still playing alongside each other. And in case you didn't know, Kellen Moore's Eagles this past year, they led the NFL in rushes per game, and they were also number 2 in rushing yards per game. So for Kellen Moore, like, I think that the rushing attack is going to be a big part of his offense. But that's the beauty of him, is that he can cater to the pass, he can cater to the run. Where are we going to go? He even said in his press conference, I don't care if we have to run the ball 50 times or throw the ball 50 times. We're going to find a way to win. Like, that is the mentality to have. And, I mean, you don't have to just go Ashton Jeanty. There's a lot of options that you can get, honestly, in any round. So we'll go through Mel Kiper's running back draft rankings. Obviously, Jeanty is the number 1, but I really like Omarion Hampton. He's a downfield runner. He can also beat you with in the passing game. Dylan Sampson's another player that I actually really like. But it's shocking to see Cam Skattebo so far back in Mel Kiper's running back draft rankings. In my opinion, Skattebo is totally worth a second or third round pick. I would 100% make that investment. And I think that he could be an excellent running back in the Saints offense for the foreseeable future. And not even mention, there's guys like Ollie Gordon. There's guys like Raheem Sanders. There's so many options out there in the draft that you can address the running back group. So for now, I like what we've done here. I like the addition of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I also like that it's kind of a homecoming. It's a nice story. Like, the human element, I like of it. But I'm also going to be honest and be realistic and say it's not like he's going to come and change the entire offense. I mean, if he does, that'd be awesome to be wrong, but I think that he's a good support role, and I think he's a good person to have just on the depth chart. But Saints fans, this is why you subscribe. This is why you hang out. And I want to ask you one more question before we hop on out of here. How big of a need is running back? Scale for me 1 to 100. 1, not that big of a need at all. 100, it is the largest need on this team this offseason. So share your thoughts in the comment section. And hey, third video of the day. Got to give a big time shout out to producer Nick Lopez. He absolutely crushed it today. So show him some love in the comments too. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.